Hello and welcome back to the Magical Lane. I'm your host, Maggie Jane, and today we are diving into this knowing in our soul and just this topic that all of us long for, some of us think is gross. We're going to be talking about love. I am a lover. I love love. I love the idea of it. I love the romantic side of it. I love true love. I believe in true love. And I believe in just connecting as souls and having love for each other and care for each other and using our heart's purpose. And that's just being a being of love. We are all beings of love. So today we're going to be diving into that. And as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be diving into how you can know and how you can dive into yourself and know if you are truly ready for love. And when I say that, I'm not talking about the cheesy love that you see in movies or, just like being attracted to somebody or just being in a relationship, but like that true, deep love, that's what we're going to be diving into today. So, how to know if you're really ready for that? Because, there's a whole misconception about love, especially in today's society. So many people, nearly everybody, is living with a lack of love in their life in some form, and a lot of people never really experience true love. And a lot of people don't even believe in true love. They think that's just something you see in movies, but it's not. It is something that you can experience, that your soul can experience, that you can enjoy. It's such a beautiful thing. I'm experiencing it now. I am. Within myself, within my relationship, and just all the love that I give and receive from others. It is all just true love. But there's one form, and that's my relationship. And that's the love that I really want to dive into. Because, that's the love that we all really crave. We all crave it from our families, of course. And unfortunately, a lot of us don't receive the love that we need as kids. And that's not your parents' fault, in a sense. They most likely did not receive that love from their parents either. And that's just been passed down from generations. Just lack of love, people not believing in love, people not knowing how to love, not knowing what they need. And another misconception about love is that we should just know how to love. It's something that you can learn. You have to learn how to be loving. Truly, especially if you're not raised in a loving environment or you're not given the needs of love that you need when you're a kid. You have to learn to be loving. And we all know how. That's the thing. We all are capable. We all know how to love. It's just whether or not you are willing to learn how, to embrace that, to embody love. And I absolutely hate when people are like, ew, that's gross. I don't need to love. I just need to make money. I don't need love in my life. I don't need a partner. I am perfectly fine with myself. You can believe that. But at the end of the day, we all want love. And it doesn't have to come from somebody else. You can have that soul connection with yourself. But as long you need some love in your life, we all long for that. No matter how much money you get, no matter how alone you are, how much time you spend with yourself, how much work you put into yourself. We all long for love, and we can only give ourselves so much. As humans on this earth, a part of our purpose is to connect. That is what we're made to do. That's why we have souls. So we can connect, so we can feel, so we can love. That's the purpose of having a soul. Because, like, for example, people always say that redheads are soulless. That's not true. It's just some myth, whatever. I don't know who started that shit. But, like, the idea of being soulless is this idea of not feeling any emotions, or not having care or empathy or just anything. You can't feel remorse. You can't feel anything. If you don't have a soul, you can't feel. And as a redhead, I be feeling a lot. So we do have souls. But we all have souls. Everybody has a soul. You can't sell your soul. You can dive really hard into that idea and you just don't want to love and you don't want to feel, and then eventually you might become, you know, super disconnected from love or any feelings, and then you might be portrayed as soulless. Yes, there's a lot of people like that. There's a lot of people like that out there. But that doesn't mean they are not capable of love. That just means that it's going to take a little longer for them to find that love, because they are so far deep in the opposite direction. That's the two extremes there. You got love and you got soullessness. A lot of people are getting closer to this side, and it's sad. It's really sad. And I have always just been this being of love. I've always had a lot of love and just light, and I've always been so kind, and I'm a pure soul. I will say that, and I believe that. And anyone who knows me, like, it's just a lot of love from me, because I refuse to let life take that from me, because that's my purpose, is to love and to be a being of love. And so it's so sad to see in this world that just people are just giving up on it. They're just giving up on it. Don't give up. It's out there. That's why I want to make this episode, is to, like, bring that awareness back and just to let you know. And for those who haven't given up yet, like, this episode is really for you, because I want to dive into how you can really know and learn how to love and be ready to love. Because it takes work. And I feel like a lot of people, they don't want to put in the work because they have this idea that love should be easy and fun and playful and just all pleasure. Yeah, one side of it. But the other side of real, true love is that work. And that's what we're going to dive into. That's what we're getting into. So, I wrote a bunch of questions down. I did my research, and a lot of it, all of it, mostly came from this book, All About Love. I talked about it in my last episode. And that's another reason why I wanted to do this episode, because my last episode was about why you feel the desire to lie. And I mentioned in there how when you're lying, you're just depriving yourself of something, and that's all coming from a lack of love. So it just felt right to make my next episode all about love and how to not lack the love so much, and how to be ready for it, and how to find that love within yourself. But the first question I have for you is, why do you crave love? And that may sound like a stupid question, like everything I just said, that's why you crave love. But what is that space? Are you looking for rescue? Are you looking to be saved by somebody? Are you looking for redemption? Are you looking for just that answer to be saved? And that's not a bad thing. That like coming from that space looking for love, I feel like a lot of people are in that space. And love can save you. But if you're coming from that space looking to be rescued, but you're not willing to put in any work, then it's not going to end how you want it to. So, the first question, I have a lot of questions for you, of course, always, is just why do you crave that love? And a lot of it is going to stem from your childhood and just how you were raised and how you were shown love, if you were shown love, in what forms, and just like what part of love are you longing for? What's missing from your life? So, the first step to all of this is diving into that and figuring out why you crave it. What are you longing for? What is missing from your heart? What's missing from your heart? And the next thing that I want to get into is that we are taught. I'm going to be looking and reading from this a lot, so that's okay. That we are taught that we are unworthy or no one will love us as we really are. And in some ways, I those like teachings definitely showed up in my family. And it comes from the little things of like your parents or somebody in your family telling you when you're younger, like, oh, you'll never find anybody who's gonna appreciate that. Or you're never gonna find anybody who's gonna deal with you or put up with you that way. That's programming your mind to making you believe that nobody's gonna love you as you really are. And the only reason they're saying that is because that's how they feel about themselves, as in your parents or anybody who told you that when you were younger. So, as you'll notice throughout this episode, is that all the patterns are coming from a lack of love, some history of our families and generations. It's just a huge lack of love. So, I noticed with my mom um, that she did not feel like she could be loved exactly as she was. And I know she still feels that way and she still struggles with that. And that's something that a lot of people struggle with. So whenever your parents feel that way, they don't think it's bad for them to be saying those things because in reality, they're just projecting how they really feel about themselves. That's not their fault, you know? That's just a lack of love. It's all a lack of love. But because we are taught that we are unworthy of love or that nobody will love us as we really are, I've noticed this so much and I used to do it a little, but that this idea of putting on a facade or putting up your best self. So just like imagine you're going on a first date, you meet a really cute guy or you meet a really cute girl, and you want to present your best self because you want them to be attracted to you. You want them to want to go on a second date. You want them to want to pursue something with you. So you try to put on your best self. You get all pretty. You put your nicest clothes on. You shower, you clean yourself, you clean your house because maybe they're going to come back to your house afterwards. You clean your room that you haven't cleaned in months or weeks, or maybe you clean. That's really good. But you just you just put on this best self and you go on this date and it goes really well. And maybe you exchange numbers if you haven't already, and you set up a second date, or you're just there for hours and you end up going back to their house and it goes really well. And then you meet up for your next date and then your next date and you're still getting all pretty and you're putting on your best self and you're telling them about what you like and, some stories about your past. But what you're not sharing is what you're truly, truly looking for. And I feel like this is where a lot of people mess up. And I feel like this is where the idea of the first 3 months of just the honeymoon phase. It's the honeymoon phase because y'all are putting on a facade for 3 fucking months, trying to show up as this best version of yourself instead of actually being real and being honest and accepting yourself as you are. That's what the whole honeymoon phase is. That's why a lot of relationships don't last after 3 months. It's because we have been taught to fear being ourselves because somebody might not love us. And it's ridiculous. And that is like the opposite of what you want to do if you really want to find somebody that loves you. You don't want somebody to love just your best self. Because whenever you think about being in a relationship or being in a happy marriage or just being with somebody, you want them to be able to love you on your best and your worst days. That's when we really need the love, is when we're crying on the floor, not knowing what the fuck is going on. That's when you really want somebody to love you. So, how are they going to love you if you're just putting on your best self all the time? And you're not showing who you really are. You're not showing all your fears or your traumas or your scars or the things that you're holding deep within inside you or the fears that you have or the lack of love or care or attention or needs that you didn't receive when you were growing up. Like, that is how you build that love, that true love, that soul connection with somebody. And that is what I mean by the work. That's the work of love, is being able to face yourself and face who you are. Being able to look at yourself clearly with absolutely no shame, no judgment, and allowing somebody else to do the same and allowing them to love you, regardless of anything that you show them. That is the love. That's the love we all crave. That's the love we all long for. And in this book, she quoted a lot of books in this book, which I love that. But it's the definition of love by an author, Scott Peck, in his book. It's called The Road Less Traveled. And I absolutely love this. And, like I said in the beginning, and I've talked about my relationship many times on this podcast because it's a huge part of my life. I'm learning how to love fully and properly in this relationship that I'm in, and it's so beautiful. But this definition, it truly describes what true love is, and it's what I'm experiencing, and I'm really grateful for it. And some people might be thinking, if you don't know me, like, well, what the fuck does she know about love? And one thing that I always heard as kids, and many others probably heard the same, is, you're too young, you don't understand. And I hate that. I hate that because honestly, the little kids know the most about love because they're pure. They haven't gone through all the heartache. They haven't been programmed by their parents yet or society. Like, they are literally, all little kids and babies are just pure forms of love. So they actually know the most. So if you have kids, do not tell your kids that because they do understand. You just don't think they do. They may not understand every word you say because they're still learning words and how to communicate with their languages, but they understand at their heart and their core. Truly, they do. I always understood, and it pissed me off when my mom would be like, oh, you just don't understand. You wouldn't get it. You thought, Mom. I did understand. I always understood. Your kids understand. So don't underestimate your kids. Don't underestimate the power of being a fresh, pure soul in this world. Because that's when we really know the most. But, anyways, this definition, it says, true love, it is the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's spiritual growth. And I want to read that again. It is true love. It is the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's spiritual growth. And what that means, at least my interpretation of that, is true love is the willingness, whether it's for yourself or another person, it is the willingness to put in that work and nurture this person and help them become their best self and to fulfill their purpose. That is what true love is. And that's what I'm experiencing in my relationship. It's being able to show your raw self with no shame and allowing yourself or somebody else to take all of you, every single side of you, to love it and to help it become the best version that it possibly can. That is true love. And, again, that's why so many relationships struggle or fail, is because a lot of people can't take criticism. And it's not that it's criticism. Maybe it is in some forms. And a lot of people don't want to change. And I feel like, I used to be this girl. Typical story right here. You have a young teenage girl who's so sweet, and she meets the bad boy who's struggling and he's getting into trouble, and she wants to be with him because she wants to change him. I know that probably hits for so many girls out there. Or guys. Maybe you were the guy who wanted to change the girl. And what that is it's not that she wants to change him entirely. She wants to help him become the best version because she sees that potential and she's coming from a space of love. That's all that is. And a lot of times that girl gets shit on. She's like, people will just be like, you're just wasting your time. You can't change him. People never change. People don't change. People choose not to change. That I got told that a lot as well growing up, is that people can't change. Yes, they fucking can. Who fucking said that? Like, seriously. Who said that shit? That's just somebody who is resisting and doesn't want to change. They have a lack of love within themselves because they don't want to become better, because they don't feel that they're worthy. That's somebody who doesn't think they can change, is somebody who doesn't love and feel worthy within themselves to be able to become that best version of themselves. That's, you can change. And you are capable of. I don't like the term of changing somebody else, because there's a lot of negative connotations on that, but you're helping somebody fulfill their purpose and their potential. And one's own spiritual growth, like the spiritual growth, even if you're spiritual, religious or not, like the spiritual growth is your purpose. At the core of every religion, it's love. It's spirituality in some shape or form. So, let me read it again. It is the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's spiritual growth. So it is extending yourself at the extent of yourself to nurture somebody or to nurture yourself, to help them grow and become whoever they are meant to be and to share their gift with this world. And I am so, so grateful for Elijah and just the love that he gives me and the love that he allows me to give him and just the love that is shared within our relationship. Because, like before I met him, I've mentioned this before, but I was not in the best relationships. I was not in relationships where we were trying to nurture each other. I feel like I always had that intention, but at the same time, I didn't know how to love. I didn't know how to allow myself to be loved. I didn't know how to love myself. So that's another thing. You can have the right intentions, but if you don't know how to love or how to receive love, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a lot of struggle and pain and tears. Most likely. I don't know. But at least that's how it was for me. Because I didn't know how to properly love. And like that's what I was saying. Like you have to learn how to love and how to receive love. Because, okay, so the next thing I want to get into is true love versus everyday love. And another way of putting that is a soul connection versus a heart connection. We all, in this book, it talks so much about how love is portrayed as receiving care, attention, our needs being met, but mostly just care and affection. And in this book, it talks a lot. She was like, I don't know if she was interviewing kids or something, but a lot of kids are programmed to believe that love is something that feels good. Love is something that happens whenever I get what I want. Or love is being taken care of. In a sense, yes, but that's not true love. That is a heart connection with somebody. The heart connection is care and affection and attention. That is liking somebody's appearance or liking their personality or liking what they do for a living or liking how they treat you. That's a heart connection. And we have a lot of those in our lives. We've all probably experienced multiple heart connections where you feel drawn to this person, you just can't get enough of them. It's just it's a heart connection, you care for them. You want to give them attention. You want to receive affection and give affection between each other. It's that heart connection. But the soul connection, that's where the good shit is. And I'm going to read it again because it's another definition. I don't want to mess it up because it's from a book. um, but a soul connection, it is a resonance between two people who respond to the essential beauty of each other's individuals' natures beyond their facades and who connect on a deeper level. It is a sacred alliance whose purpose is to help both partners discover and realize their deepest potentials. A commitment to true love is a commitment to being changed, healing, being more self-aware. That's the work. That's the soul connection. And I read more than what the actual definition was, but it is a resonance between two people who respond to the essential beauty of each other's individual natures, their pure self, not the facade, behind their facades and who connect on a deeper level. And that deeper level is facing your fears together. It is facing everything together. And like I want to talk about my relationship and just like how I know that I'm experiencing this and just the difference between all of my past relationships. Because, like I mentioned before, in all of my past, literally every single one of them, I did not know how to love. I did not know how to receive love. Because that is something that I didn't fully get taught when I was younger, growing up. I was shown care, I was shown attention, I was shown affection, my needs were met. But I was not shown real love. And that is simply because my parents were not shown that. So they were incapable of showing that to me. And that's okay. I have accepted that. There's a lot of love. Mom, I know you listen to my podcast. I love you. I know you love me. And I know you did your absolute best. And I love you and I'm grateful for everything. But in my relationship, it's insane. Like with the soul connection, it's just like when I met Elijah, it was so unexpected. I'm going to tell you the story about how we met if you don't know. But when I met Elijah, we met through my friend James. Shout out Juju. I still need to get his ass on this podcast, but I will. But we met, and Elijah's from Washington, and I was living in Arizona. And like I said before, I had just gotten out of this little situationship like maybe 2 weeks before I met Elijah. And how we met at James's house, not planned whatsoever. And James will tell you, like, he does not have very many people over at his house. And so it was weird because he was having 3 friends over. And Elijah had just gotten into town. He was on a road trip all the way down for like the last 2 months from Washington, and then his destination was Arizona. So the odds of me going over there this same day was insane. But Elijah gets in. He's like just gotten into town 3 days ago. And he met James on Facebook because they're both into life coaching and just mindset work and all of that, as you know. But so Elijah went over to James's house, and I was getting into doing some hair, braiding and shit. So I was gonna do one of James's friend's hair, but I didn't know him super well, so we were both really close with James, so we just ended up going over to James's house, and it happened to be the same night that Elijah was there. And we walk in, and like he's already sitting on the couch. I walk in. I'm not thinking anything of it. Because for me, I was not attracted to other redheads. And it's really interesting. I was not attracted to other redheads. I kind of told myself, I was just like, oh, I would never be with another redhead. Because, I feel like as a redhead, it's not, I don't know. That's just how I was feeling. So whenever I first saw him, I was like, okay, cool. This guy's dope. And then me, Elijah, and James, like 2 days later, we all went on a hike together. And we all vibe. We all just vibed really, really well. And then the next day, I was supposed to go on a hike with somebody else, and he blew me off. And so I called Elijah, and I was like, hey, do you want to go on a hike with me? Little did I know, this was at like 8 or 9 in the morning. He supposedly was out drinking all night, so he was hungover, and I woke him up calling him. But yeah, he drove 40 minutes, picked me up, and we went on a hike. And that's the start of it. But I had no intention. I wasn't like drawn to him sexually in any way. I didn't feel like, yes, I want this. And it was interesting, but like my heart wanted it. See, this is where people will be like, ew, that's fucking gross. Shut up. You know you wanted to. But it's so cheesy and I hate it. I love it. See, this is the programming. It's not gross. It's not cheesy. That's just how society portrays it. So people just need to shut up. My mind needs to shut up. Because I love it. I love love. And I hate that it's portrayed as cheesy. But it's true. I can't deny it. My heart wanted it. And I'll say that, like, my heart chose him before I mentally did. Because I couldn't get away from him. Like, I just met the guy and we started hanging out all the time, and then I asked him to do a photo shoot with me, and it basically turned into a couple photo shoot. And the photographer was just like, "Are you guys a couple?" And I was like, "No, we just met." And he's like, "Are you sure about that?" And I had a roommate at the time, and I kept inviting Elijah over, and he's like, "Oh, is your boyfriend coming over today?" I'm like, "Stop, I just met the guy." So, like, everybody was telling me he was my boyfriend, even my own heart, before I even mentally was like, "Yeah, I want the guy." But I just remember, like, it's funny because he would stay the night a couple times because we were hanging out late and he lives 40 minutes away. I'm not going to make him drive home at like 1 or 2 a.m., you know? And it started escalating from there. And I remember when he was just like, "Oh, I want to kiss you." And he was like, we were laying in bed and he was just like, "I want to kiss you, but I don't want to rush things." And I was like, "Then don't." And just turned away. And that was just fear because I didn't want to rush things either, and it was really good, and it was a new feeling, and we just felt instantly like connected to each other. And like after that hike on the way home, like I started opening up and talking about things that I feared talking about with anybody. And like that is that soul connection. It's just where like you just instantly feel comfortable with this person and you just feel like you've known each other for so long. And this is that connection that's going to take the most fucking work. Like this has been the best relationship I've ever been in, but it's also been the most work I've ever put into a relationship, which is, that's why it's the best relationship I've ever been in. Because I've opened up and I've been willing to put in that work. But uh, we were, we kept hanging out, and it's like maybe 2 weeks after we met, and we've spent nearly every day together. And how I knew that I was starting to like him was he was still in his road trip phase, so he left for a few days to go snowboard. And I was just like, "Well, what the fuck? Why do I miss this person?" I was like, "I just met the guy, but I don't want to be away from him." And so that's how I knew. That's how I knew. Because he left and I missed him and I wanted him to come back. And a lot of people, you might feel that with a lot of people. But like, this was just like, it was deeper than that. It was just like, I don't miss him for any particular reason. I just miss him, you know? And it's so cute. Oh, if I cried, I won't cry, because maybe. I am a crier. But, like, I missed him. I missed him, and I didn't know why. Because I'm like, I just met the guy. Like, my heart was just like, oh, no, come back. Oh, and he's going to listen to this, and he's going to love it. But he felt the same, obviously. um, but I just remember, like, he came back and then we just started hanging out again. And we were smoking in my car, hotboxing the fuck out of that shit. And he was just like, you have a new man now, or I'm your new man. And we argue about this, not really, but we talk about this shit all the time because he's just like, well, I didn't mean it like that. And I'm like, yes, you fucking did. What else does that shit mean? And that's just the confusion between what men and women actually say when they're saying shit. I don't know. But I knew what he meant. Apparently, he didn't know what he meant. And that's some loud, probably the garbage truck. I don't know if you can hear that. But I just remember whenever he said that, I just got really fucking anxious. I got really anxious. And 2 days later, I finally brought it up again. We went out to breakfast, and I was just like, so, do you remember that thing you said the other day? He was like, yeah. I was like, well, that made me really anxious, and I don't know if I want a man right now. And I'm glad that I said that because that's what led to what we have now. It's just me facing that fear and being honest, communicating how I felt, because it did make me really anxious, because that triggered a lot of shit, as it would whenever you don't know how to love and you meet such a pure soul. Like, it's some scary shit, as it was to Maggie then. But I just remember, like, that whole day we just started talking about that shit, and he was just like, why does that make you anxious? And just like diving into all my fears. And I kept telling him, I'm like, I don't think I'm ready. I'm going through a lot. I'm trying to heal a lot of shit. I don't know if you want to deal with my family shit. And just like, it's just sad. It's crazy all the time. I don't know what my life's doing. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Like, it's just chaotic. Speaking all these excuses, all the excuses. And he was just like, okay, I get that you're afraid. I am too. But he was basically like, okay, I don't give a fuck about your fears. Do you want to do this shit or not? And I was like, well, fuck, I can't be a little bitch and say no. And so that turned into a beautiful relationship. But like, that's the thing. I could have said no. I could have given into those fears. I could have given into that fear of knowing that this shit was gonna be a lot of fucking internal work if it was gonna be good. And I knew it was gonna be good. And that's the good part of it. And that's what so many people fear, is doing that internal work. But like, that's the beauty of it. That's that good shit, is doing that work and having somebody just bring all of that shit out of you. All of that shit that you're not even aware of, and the things that you are aware of, being triggered left and right. Like, when I met him and we just like started hanging out even more, like, I had never cried so much in my life. But they were all good tears, just bringing up all this shit, because I was holding on to so much. I really was. I was holding on to so much shit. But it's just being willing to face that and not judge it, because he wasn't judging it. And like, it's a two-way street. That soul connection, there's no judgment from either of you. And yeah, judgment might come up, but it's owning that and accepting that. And we just had a conversation the other day of like, wow, we've really been judging ourselves and each other. And it's a process. That's the work. Like, it's not just, okay, we're going to work through all this shit for these couple months and then it's just going to be perfect. I wish it was that way. I really don't, cuz like, that's not fun. We need I the work is the good shit. It's so great. But just, you will never get a better feeling than when you own yourself. You own who you are. You own your fears. You own every single side of yourself. You don't judge yourself and you hold zero shame on yourself. And you love yourself. And you allow somebody else to do the exact same thing for you. And you get to do the exact same thing for them. And you guys just love and you release and you let go of traumas and fears and resentment and judgment and you just fucking grow together. And that doesn't mean you'll stay together forever because, some people grow apart and that's okay. But you will always know that love and you will always have that love and you will just forever be connected because your soul's connected at that point. That's a soul connection. You can't get rid of that. It's forever engraved in your heart and your soul. And it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. And a lot of people fear that. But there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear because what you're doing now is so much worse if you're not living in that love, if you're not experiencing the love of our souls and what we're really capable of. Like, there's nothing better than that. Truly. Go listen to all these rich people who have all the success, who have all the money. Go listen to them to tell you that love is what matters. Their family is what matters. Their relationships are what fucking matter. The money ain't shit. Yeah, it's great. It's fun experiences, especially if you had that soul connection and you're both fucking rich. Like, that is powerful. That's y'all are unstoppable because not only are you fulfilled inside, you have a loving partner, you are loving yourself, you guys are helping each other fulfill your purpose, and you're rich. That's just like the golden shit of life right there. I think that's what we all truly long for, is to be rich as fuck, money wise and love wise. Let's be real. Let's be so real. We all want that. And maybe you don't. Maybe you don't want the richness of wealth and money. But I know you want the richness of love. And if you say that you don't, you're just lying to yourself. Go back to my last episode on why you feel the desire to lie. Don't lie to yourself. Don't deprive your heart. Don't deprive your soul. You want love. You deserve love. You are worthy of love. And you are lovable. You are so lovable. And you are so capable. Everybody is. Literally all it takes. Just go read this book. All about love. Truly. It'll solve a lot of problems if you put in that work, and it'll just bring so much awareness and just like you'll realize like it's not your fault. It's not your fault that you don't have that love. It is not your fault that you don't know how to love. But if you never find it, then it's your fault because you can and you are capable. It's not your fault that you don't have it now or you didn't when you were growing up. But if you die without knowing love, that's your fault. Because you are choosing to live that way. You are choosing to deprive your soul of what you long for, and you'll never be fulfilled. You'll never find true happiness. And I know that sounds so harsh, but it's real. I'm just being honest. I'm just being so fucking honest. Because, like, that's what we do here. We just speak honesty. Because, like, what the fuck else is there to do? You know? But let's dive back into this. Communication. When you do find it, like I've been talking about, it's about communicating. Communicating how you feel. Communicating the things that bother you. That is like when you go on this first date, I'm not talking dump your whole story right there, everything you need, but like honestly, try that. See how many people you just scare off right away. And you're not scaring them off in a bad way, because you're weaving out the ones who aren't ready to put in the work. And why would you want to pursue anything with somebody who's not willing to put in the work for you or with you? So be honest. Like you'll save yourself so much time, so much heartache, and so much wasted connection. Not that anything's wasted, but like you get what I'm saying. Be fucking honest. Don't put on a facade. Yeah, you can put on your best self, but still be real. Still be your real best self. Be fucking true and honest. Don't go to these relationships or these dates or anything and just try to be somebody that you're not. Cuz then they're going to love somebody that's not you, and then you're just going to confirm the idea that you're not lovable as you are, and it's bullshit. Because you are. You are lovable as you are. You are so fucking lovable. And here we go with the aggressive love again, but like, Jesus Christ. Let's calm down, Maggie. See, this is just something I'm really passionate about. And like, it's funny. I love how much I have a passion for it because, like, it's so, like, it hurts my heart seeing such a lack of love in the world. Like, truly. And I know it hurts everybody's hearts, honestly. Because, like, it's not fun. Like, every single horrible thing in the world is from a lack of love. War, poverty, corporations, the climate change, earth fires and animals dying and trees getting chopped down. It's a lack of love within your hearts and your souls. Every single fucking bit of it. That's why the world is so greedy. Ugh. Another thing that this book talks about is, I did not save the page and I'm not going to try to find it, but just addiction and material consumption. It is, they literally like, whenever all of the like advertisement and all of that shit started and it's just escalated, they just, they noticed a lack of love within themselves, and then they noticed a lack of love within everybody else, and they're like, oh, you can't find love, that's okay, go buy shit. And that's the cycle of the world right now. Oh, you don't have love in your life? That's okay. Go buy a yacht. Go buy these new shoes. Go buy all these new clothes. Go buy your Starbucks coffee. You'll feel better. No, you won't. You won't. You won't feel better. Your bank account will just be lower and you'll have a horde of shit. Have y'all ever seen the show Hoarders? Go watch that shit. I used to watch that shit with my family. It's ridiculous, the things that people will hoard. But it's material consumption is a lack of love. Period. That's it. It is. It's a lack of love. And you can still have that love and want material things, but desiring and craving and spending all of your money and your time on buying and trying to fill a hole or a void, like, just go learn how to love. You'll save a lot of time, you'll save a lot of money, and you'll save a lot of room in your closet. Because, like, yeah, we want these nice things, but you really just want love. You want love. You want your heart to be filled. Cuz like you can have all these nice things. You can get the nice house, you can get these cars, you can get the yacht, you can get all the nice clothes. But at the end of the day, don't you want to share that with somebody? And that's where it gets you. And that's why all the rich and successful people will talk about how they're not fulfilled and how they wish they would have just focused on love. Because you can have all those things, but there is nothing better than having someone to share it with. So let's learn how to love. In communication, there's another quote from this book. It says, "As long as we are afraid to risk, we cannot know love." And I'm not talking about risking on like stocks or money or any of that shit. Risking showing who you really are to somebody else and risking rejection. Ooh, that's what we all really feel. Fear is rejection. Being rejected of who you are. And that's why people put the facade on. Because they don't, if you put on a facade, you can never really be rejected because you were never being yourself to begin with. And it's fucking bullshit. Stop doing that to yourself. Seriously, just be real. Because, like, if you're listening to this, let this be proof that there are people out there who will love you truly, who will accept you as you are. If you can do that for yourself, you'll start to attract those people. And you know, some people may ask like how did I find Elijah? How did I attract that? That's because I was giving that love to myself. And I was learning how to love and I was accepting and I was in the process of healing a lot of shit. That's when it came. When I decided to accept who I was, to not judge myself anymore, and to love myself, that's when that special person came and he has just helped me. He has truly taught me how to love myself more than I ever could. At least that's what I know because that's what I've experienced. More than I ever could. He has taught me how to love myself. He has taught me how to be loving and compassionate and to fulfill my purpose, which is literally what I've been speaking. Like, he is doing the definition of what this guy wrote as true love, and it's phenomenal because I get to return that. And you'll never experience anything better than that. And don't take this and put it into your mind and say, "Oh, I'll never experience that. Oh, I'm not worthy of that. Oh, I'll never find that. Oh, I'll never find my person." Give love to those thoughts because many of you might be thinking that. And you know, it's hard to hear it coming from somebody who's experiencing it. But coming from somebody who was not experiencing this a year ago, I am proof that you can find it. You will find your person. You will experience that love. Only if you want to and you are willing to put in that work. As long as we are afraid to risk, we cannot know love. As long as you are not willing to own who you are and to not judge yourself and to not shame yourself, you cannot know love. So love yourself. And I have so many episodes on self-love. Nearly every episode talks about it. It's the key. The key to life is to love yourself. I wrote that in my journal like 3 years ago, and it's been so fucking real. Nothing, everything has confirmed that. Everything has confirmed that. The key to life and success in any shape or form is self love. Whether you want a soul connection or whether you just want the fucking yacht, love yourself. And you might get both. But you really just want the love, let's be real. What else did I write? Oh, how to be ready. I've kind of already been talking about that. True love appears only when our hearts are ready. That's another quote from this book. And it's true. My heart was ready for it. And that does not mean that it's going to be easy. What that means, when your heart is ready for it, that means your heart is ready to put in that work. Your heart is ready to let go of all the shit you've been holding on to. Your heart is ready to let go of the fear. Your heart is ready to release and to be open and receive all the love that you have not been receiving. That is what that means when your heart is ready. True love appears only when our heart is ready. True love appears when your heart is ready to open up and heal and receive that love and to face anything that you've been holding on to, anything that's deep down within inside. Because if there's one thing that'll bring out all your fucking triggers, it's a relationship. It's a damn relationship. But because that is the most intimate form of love, is you're sharing every form. You're sharing the heart connection, the soul connection, the intimate, the sexual, everything. That's gonna trigger you in more ways than you could ever fucking imagine. But damn, is it beautiful! It's so beautiful. And you want to experience it, and you deserve to experience it, and you are capable. You have to tell yourself you are capable. You have to be ready and willing. And that's how you be ready. That's how you become ready to receive that love, is to open up your heart. And that's why I titled this whole episode, Are You Ready for Love? In reality, I'm asking the question, are you willing to own who you are, to not judge yourself, to not shame yourself, and to open your heart up to receive love? That's what I'm asking. It's not, are you ready? Are you ready for that work? Are you ready to be triggered in a million fucking ways and still be loving and still give love and still love the person wholeheartedly that's triggering the fuck out of you? But it's not that they are doing it. It's just whatever they might do is triggering it because that's not something you've received before. And that's not a bad thing because you won't want to hold on to that. Anytime you ever get triggered, it is simply an opportunity for you to allow your body or your heart or your mind to let go of it. That's why you get triggered, because it is your body telling you, hey, you're still holding on to this. It's going to trigger you because it's an opportunity for you to let it go. That's a fucking gem right there. Ugh. It's an opportunity to let go. So any trigger in a relationship, it's an opportunity to heal and to be more loving and to receive more love. That's all it is. What else did I write? To open your heart, to forgive, to see yourself clearly without shame, to love yourself, to be kind, to put in the work for yourself, to have compassion, to be gentle, and to feel and face your emotions. It's so good. It's so, so good. I've been doing this shit for so long. But there's one last thing I want to talk about. And it's, again, in this book. I wrote the page number down. But it's about the language of love, how we speak about love. Because, here we go. It says, how different things might be if rather than saying, I think I'm in love, we were saying, I've connected with someone in a way that makes me think I'm on the way to knowing love. Oh, damn, is that fucking good. Let me read that shit again. How different things might be if rather than saying, I think I'm in love, we were saying, I've connected with someone in a way that makes me think I'm on the way to knowing love. Doesn't that just sound so much better? Because that's being honest. Like that's so real. I've connected with someone in a way that's makes me think I'm on the way to knowing love. That is blatantly saying you don't know how to love, but you're connecting with someone so you can learn how to love. That's what being in love is, in a sense, you know? It's just you're learning how to love. That's how you fall in love with somebody. You're learning how to love yourself and that person. And then another one is instead of saying, I am in love, we say, I am loving or I will love. I'm in love. Don't say that. I am loving. It's the same thing. It is. They mean the same thing. But by saying I am loving, one, you instantly take out all of society's bullshit that's put around this idea of, oh, I'm in love, or any negative connotations or anything that your mind might think it knows about the terms, I am in love. And just say, I am loving. And you will reprogram yourself, you will reprogram your mind. But it's so important of how you're speaking about the things that you want. Because I'm assuming we all want love, because I know you do. I'm not even assuming, I'm just stating a fact at this point. We all want love. So change your language. Speak about it differently and see how that changes things. Because it says our patterns around romantic love are unlikely to change if we do not change our language. And that's true. Because, that goes with anything. Your patterns around anything are very unlikely to change if you do not change how you speak about them. Whether that's your story, your life, your current situation. If you continue to speak about it the same way, it is very, very unlikely to change. And that is the same with your love, your loving relationships. They are unlikely to change if you do not change your language around them. But that's where I want to wrap it up. I'm an hour into this shit. It's a lot of passion, it's a lot of love, but I want to repeat this. How I titled it, Are You Ready for Love? What I want to leave you with, and the question that I'm really asking you is, are you ready to open up your heart, to own who you are, to not shame yourself, to not judge yourself, to feel and face any and all emotions within yourself that you feel now or that may come up later, facing all the fears, all the pain, all the trauma, all the conditioning, all the past experiences. And I know it sounds like a lot, but it's not like you have let me say this. Yes, this sounds like a lot, but it's not, you don't have to do anything. In this moment to be ready, the only thing you have to do is to be willing and to open your heart. And that is not a lot. So it's not like you have to go and heal all this shit on your own. That is going to happen throughout the connection, throughout the relationship. So you do not take this and feel like you need to go do a lot of work or you need to do all these things before you can receive love. That is not what I'm saying at all. All I am saying is that your heart has to be open and ready and willing to do all of that. Like I said here, true love appears only when our hearts are ready. That's what I want to leave you with. True love appears only when our hearts are ready. So take that, whatever that means for you, however that feels for you. When is your heart ready? Yours, not mine. I'm just speaking, sharing my thoughts, experiences, and my passion for this beautiful love. When is your heart ready? I don't know when your heart is ready. I only know when my heart was ready and everything that has taught me. It's going to be different for you. So do not take any of what I'm saying and add on to this idea that you are not capable, or add on to this belief that you need to do a lot of work. Yeah, you might need to do some healing, self love, put some more care in for yourself. But only you know. Only you know what you need to do. Because you do know. You know the answers. They're within you. You know what you need to do to be ready to receive true love. And that's where I want to leave it. That's the final time I'm saying that. But I hope you enjoyed this episode. I've been really, really excited to do this episode because, as you can tell, I'm very passionate about it. And, just since being in this full journey, because our 1 year's coming up. It's so exciting. 2 days after my birthday is our 1 year. We will be in Greece, May 12th. That's our 1 year anniversary. So send some love on May 12th and I'll appreciate that. But I have never celebrated 1 year with anybody. So this is all so new to me. It really is. My longest relationship before this was in 8th grade. So whenever I tell you I did not know how to love before this, I didn't. But do you see how quickly things can change? How much can happen in a year? I didn't know shit, man. And now I'm about to celebrate 1 year with somebody. I haven't even lived in the same house for a year. And I couldn't even tell you. So that just goes to show you what a year has ever meant to me. So me being with somebody for a year, I still find it crazy. It's still kind of ridiculous, but it's beautiful and I'm grateful for it and I wouldn't have it any other way. And the things that I'm saying, it just goes to show there's still some fear. There's still some fear. 1 year? That's a long time. That's a lot of shit that he's seen. He knows nearly everything about me now. But not, because I'm still learning a lot about myself. And that's the beauty of it, is we get to learn more about each other every single day. So once you get past the bulk of the healing and the facing the shit and just owning who you are and not shaming each other, you guys just get to grow and evolve together. And you get to share passions and share new hobbies and new ideas, and you get to succeed in life together and help each other fulfill each other's purpose. And it's so fucking beautiful. It's seeing them as they are now and loving them as they are now, but also seeing who they are going to become and helping them become that. Because I see him and his future and his purpose so clearly, and he may not see it as clearly as I do. And it's the same for him. He might see me so clearly in my purpose and my future that I can't clearly see. And that's that true love, man. It's seeing someone's purpose and passion so fucking clearly that you're just gonna love them so much that they fulfill that. That's it's so good. And I'm forever grateful to have experienced this and still experiencing this so young. I have a lot of love for that. And no matter your age, it's never too late. Because I know a lot of older people, and I know this from my mother, they think it's too late for them. But it's not. Because I know I have a lot of people. I look at my age demographic on here. I have people who are over 60 listening to my podcast. It is not too late for you. It is never too late. Open your heart and allow yourself to be loved, even if it's just from yourself, because that is still so much. And this one goes to you, Mom. Open your heart. Allow yourself to be loved because you deserve it. You are capable. And you deserve to leave this earth being fulfilled and knowing you received and felt true love. And even if you're not my mom, if you're somebody's mom or not, it's the same for you. But for real, I'm going to end this shit. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for listening to The Magical Lane. And as you can tell, we have 2 episodes a week now, so like even more of Maggie Jane. Who doesn't love that shit? And if you follow me on YouTube, I am now dropping weekly vlogs, which are going to consist of my travel adventures through Europe or cooking videos, because your girl likes to cook and I be cooking some good shit. The first cooking video is the best fucking avocado toast you'll ever have in your life. It's so good and I eat it nearly every morning, so be on the lookout for that. Go subscribe to my YouTube. It's _Maggie Jane. Watch the podcast videos on there. Subscribe, like. The best way you can support is to rate, review, and of course, share it with your friends. And specifically this episode, share it with the people that need it the most. For real. So share it with every single person you know. Peace.